marks my 6th week postpartum. My little guy is just having his morning nap, so now I have an opportunity to have some time to myself on the mat. And if you've just had a baby and you're past your 6 weeks, feel free to follow along. If you're not there yet, just take your time for the first month to really rest and take care of yourself and try to sit or lie down as much as possible, because you do need time for your abdominals and your pelvic floor to heal, especially if you've had a C-section, if you've had obviously natural labor. It's just really important to make sure you take the first 6 weeks to really rest. There's always time to exercise later. So we're going to begin by lying on our backs with our knees up. Just ease yourself down if you need a little help. So your feet are hip-width distance apart. Think of your sits bones, and bring your feet a little bit close to your buttocks. They don't have to quite touch, and your hands can be by your sides, palms facing down. Make sure your shoulder blades are glued to the ground as much as you can. You want to avoid any rounding if possible, and chin tucks in to elongate the neck. And we'll begin with a few even breaths, just listening to your natural rhythm. Maybe close your eyes so that you can really focus on the sensations of your breath. And as you inhale, you'll probably feel your belly rise and your ribs expand and your chest come up a little bit. And as you exhale, the chest softens down, the ribs draw in, and the belly softens as well. So we call this the 3-part breath. And it's okay if you don't feel it yet. But as you lie in quiet breathing, you should feel this sort of wave, belly, ribs, chest, and as you exhale, chest, ribs, and belly. It's very important to keep that breath going throughout your practice. The breath is what drives us, and it helps us to activate the core in an effective way. Never hold your breath. So we'll begin to mobilize the spine a little bit. So you're going to plant your feet into the ground, and as you inhale, think of your back rolling up like a string of beads. So your tailbone first, lower back, mid back, upper back coming up, keeping the big toe joint connected to the floor. And then as you exhale, reverse that roll. So now it's upper back, mid back, lower back, and then the tailbone, and then arriving at your neutral spine. So the inhale brings us up, and the exhale rolls you down. And if you run out of breath, that's okay. You just breathe in if you need to, or breathe out. Remember, we try not to hold the breath. Nice and slow, letting each backbone do its job, each segment rolling against the next. Allowing each joint to receive a little bit of movement. All the muscle groups here getting a chance to move. Let's do one more, rolling up. And roll all the way back down. Good. Pull in your right knee, give it a little hug towards your chest. We'll let that right leg come back down, left knee comes in, pull it towards your chest, a little squeeze. Let it go, and we're going to lift our arms, stretch your legs one at a time, lengthening your body like a good morning stretch. You can point your toes, fingers away from toes, taking up space, and then just let everything go so you're kind of flopping into the earth. Feeling that belly rise, ribs and chest. And exhale, reverse. Let's do one more good morning stretch. This time we're going to push our heels and flex your palms and really try to reach the 2 sides of the room, wall to wall, opening the fascia stretching your tissues, and then exhale and let everything just flop. And just notice here when your eyes are closed what parts of your body are connected to the ground. And perhaps noticing any differences. I can feel my right shoulder is a little bit raised, so maybe a bit more tension or tightness in my right side. I am right-handed. Let's float our arms down, bring your knees back to point the ceiling, and then engage your core a little bit here to help you. So on your exhale, you're going to try to draw the pelvic floor up and pull your belly button towards your spine, or imagine you have a corset. Well, you do have a corset actually. It's your fourth layer of abdominals. And you're going to just allow your natural corset to make your waist smaller as you exhale, pulling up the pelvic floor. And then if you can try to maintain that contraction, but now breathe. So it's a little tougher. So I'm breathing maybe a little bit more shallow, but I'm trying to engage those deep internal muscles. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, see a pelvic floor physiotherapist or a physiotherapist that is familiar with this kind of postpartum work, because you might just need a little bit of help finding those muscles. Okay, now that I have my inner core warmed up and engaged through a few breaths, I'm going to pick up my right leg, and you can leave your arms down or float them up, whatever's more comfortable. Okay, and keeping that engagement and keeping my spine in neutral, I'm going to push my heel to the window. Bring it back. So just a little bit of lower abdominal work here. I'm going to do about 5. So I'm trying to push on the exhale, inhale to bring my knee back in. And down. Other side, here we go. Trying to keep my spine in neutral, not allowing my hips to roll back and forth. And my lower back isn't glued to the ground. It's okay to have that natural curve, because that's how our deep muscles get engaged the most. You don't want to do a pelvic tilt, actually. So I'll show you what I mean. A pelvic tilt would be like gluing to your back like this, and then you feel your outer abs kind of crunching, but we want to just maintain neutral spine to get the deep muscles, access our deeper muscles. So now we're going to pick up the right leg again, and maybe try picking up the left, and that might be enough work right here. So by lifting both legs, I can feel that I have to work a little bit harder. I'm still trying to maintain my neutral spine and breathe and keep my inner abdominals, like that corset and the pelvic floor, on to support me, or else I would feel strain on my back. So if you feel strain on your lower back, come back to just one leg. Good. I'm going to do 3 more breaths here. Just trying to warm up those abdominals, my deep inner core, and then slowly, one leg at a time, finds the ground. Okay, I'm going to push my feet into the earth again and roll up on an inhale, just to work out any kinks I may have created just by doing that little bit of core work. It's surprising how 9 months of a growing belly and labor can really just kind of bring you back to square one. It always surprises me. This is my 3rd, and I'm still surprised at how much weaker I feel, but it makes sense at the same time. Your body's been through a lot, so you want to take the time to build it up slowly again, and it will get there. Just have to work patiently and slowly. Sometimes that's hard to do. Okay, here we go. We're going to do one more round. So start to exhale and hold. Again, if you need to just stick with one side, maybe try your other leg. Okay, and this time I'm also going to raise my arms, maybe palms face each other. And you can hold this dead bug position, Or maybe you want to try alternating the limbs. So I'm going to do an exhale and push my left heel and bring my right arm above my head. Notice though that my opposite limbs didn't move. So there's a tendency for our brain to want to kind of bicycle, but try to keep the opposite limbs still. Sometimes closing your eyes can also help with the coordination. So you're really using your body to sense where you are in space. But maybe at first keep your eyes open to make sure you're doing it correctly. So again, on the exhale, because this position is a bit more effort, it's a bit harder, that's when you exhale. So you exhale on exertion and inhale to bring the limbs back. Inhale, exhale. And if you want it a little bit easier, don't lower your limbs as far towards the ground. And if you want a bigger challenge, you would lower a little bit further. But again, if you feel your back straining, you've probably gone too low. So that one I could feel in my lower back, so I probably want to just hit it about here. And there I can really feel my lower abdominals working hard rather than straining my back. Good. I'm going to pull my knees into my chest. Give my body a little rock and squeeze. And then just sort of rolling out like a little massage on my lower back. And if you want to be a bit more playful, maybe you can roll and hover the feet. Roll back and hover on your shoulders. This also takes some abdominal control, waking up all those core muscles to help you roll like a ball with control. And if you don't have control, that's okay. You just have fun with it. And then see if you can find a sweet spot. So always at the end of your practice, you want to take some time to shut down your eyes and give yourself a few breaths just to listen to your body and notice how you're feeling. Otherwise called Shavasana. You can also do it lying down. Today I'm going to do it seated, just called easy pose here. Noticing your breath. Giving gratitude to your body and all the hard work it's able to do. Thanks for practicing. Namaste.